Up now, we would like to welcome the Public Information Officer, actually take that back, yes, Public Information Officer for the City of Portland's Bureau of Transportation, Dylan Rivera. Dylan, please welcome to OMSI. We are so excited to have you here, sir.
Thank you, Bobby and Tanya. Thank you to OMSI for having us here, and I'm mainly here to express my gratitude and appreciation for the work of our weather forecasting community and the Weather Service, and explain how critical their work is to what we do in transportation and in our emergency response and recovery for the City of Portland. When we, in any emergency, we want to cite the experts. And so you'll see us in our traffic advisories, we'll say the experts on the Weather Service said something's going to happen. So then we're interpreting and relaying information about the impacts of that in our sphere, which is transportation, streets, roads, the hills, and different terrain that we have. And then I want to explain or remind, many of you may know a lot of this already, but what you can do to help the community respond to emergencies and recover more quickly as well. The evolution of an event, when the weather's coming, it starts with a forecast, and then typically if it's snow or ice especially, but also rain, the transportation agencies will start communicating the impacts that we expect to the transportation system, and then you'll see a variety of other members of our community taking action on their plans, their winter weather plans, their flood plans, and what the implications are for their community. And we need everyone to remember that you and your household need to have a plan for what you'll do in the event of snow tomorrow, or a flood in your neighborhood, or these other sorts of disasters that we're dealing with. You'll see lots more archival footage from '96. This is the flood wall that, little known fact, PBOT asset. Transportation is the city's lead. We work with the Portland Bureau of Emergency Management, but we're the lead on not just snow and ice, which you see me talk about a lot in the media in those events, but also floods, landslides, volcanoes, and a variety of other emergencies that are less common. But we really depend on partnership and to implement the plans that we have. And so that is how the flood wall went, and it depended on hundreds of volunteers that Mayor Katz at the time mobilized by inspiring the community to help out. This is the latest draft of the Downtown Flood Defense Plan. You can see some sections have what's called call for eco block, which are these big sort of rectangular concrete blocks, distinct from the seawall enhancement that you've all seen in historic photos. Now, one lesson from the flood of '96 was the seawall segments that we were installing and reinforcing with sandbags filled by community members and PBOT crews. These segments are now steel. In '96, they were wooden. And so that's an enhancement. We still may need to supplement with some plastic sheeting, some sandbags, and other things like that, but there's at least one level of enhancement, and every May we train and practice assembling sections of this wall. It's got some room for improvement for sure. We could use some investment. For some reason, every section is unique. So the panel number 1 cannot just be put in slot number 3, et cetera. So you can imagine what that, the implications of that. Here's some reinforcement. And thank you. We have a little bit of breaking news here. In recent weeks, we found out that our bid for a new resource, sandbagging machine, was granted by the Oregon Department of Emergency Management. Thank you, ODEM. We partnered with Multnomah County, Clackamas County, and Hood River to share this resource. And I'm told, so PBOT will store it and we'll train with it. I think I'm not sure if we own it or we have to like use it and caretake it, and if the state doesn't like how we're taking care of it, they can take it back. We're pledged to, on our Scouts Honor and all that, share a resource with our partners, of course, which we would naturally do. And we've actually, it took a couple of years of bidding for us to win a grant for this resource, and it helped to have more partners. And so you'll hear, I'm going to talk a lot about the importance of partnerships. This device, the sandbagger, fills 1,600 bags per hour. A crew of four people filling bags, and then an operator as well. So catastrophic flood risk, not just downtown. We have plans in place for flood response. The Columbia River, you might know, is the second largest river system in North America. So it would be really bad if that flooded. And so we have a part in enhancements in preparation and response for that. Here's the plan, Marine Drive. We install a flood wall. The technical term is a stop log closure. And there are two sections, north and south. And this is what that looks like when we do that. We've got these steel columns that the round slots are there built into the street to receive it on Marine Drive. And then tongue and groove, these concrete panels slide into those braces there, those columns. Nearby, that's it, Marine Drive just east of North Portland Road. And then if you follow the railroad line that crosses the Columbia River there, a few hundred feet south, it's crossing Subtle Road, I believe it's called, just east of North Portland Road. There's another section of flood wall that we train on, and so those three sections, Marine Drive, north side, south side, and then the Subtle Road, North Portland Road section here, those are three sections. And over the course of 3 years, our agreement with our regional partners is to assemble each one of those over the course of 3 years. So over 3 years, we've built and assembled the entire system. Our partner in that, formerly known as the Multnomah County Drainage District, now the Urban Flood Safety and Water Quality District. Did I get that right, Francisca? You still here? All right, great. So that's what this looks like. Again, this is the assembled product on this this wall. The vertical, the concrete columns are vertical. Takes a couple hours to install, plus time for traffic control, especially on Marine Drive. We're trying to practice and get better at it. So Johnson Creek is a critical regional concern in Portland. We are so good at responding to floods, unfortunately, in the Johnson Creek area that this is the traffic control plan, where you can see the signs, those orange diamonds are detour signs that are permanently installed along the roadside, so we just flip them up to say high water. The intersection of Foster Road and 110th was closed in December for about a day, and then the previous time we closed it was December of 2015. We had about a month of rain in 24 hours, and I remember we had arranged this outdoor press event in the Pearl District where we had installed the city's first traffic signals that had a diagonal crosswalk behind Powell's Books. The nickname for that is a Barnes dance. And so we thought it would be cute to have a bunch of square dancers dance in the street for the TV cameras. And we said, guys, it's really rainy today. And they said, we'll do it anyway. So they're dancing in the street. And then my colleagues at the Portland Bureau of Emergency Management and my colleagues in maintenance response were saying, you know, this is really starting to cause some disruptions. And so partners with PBEM and the Bureau of Environmental Services said, we need to talk to the media. So my counterpart, the PIO for PBEM, said, I'm gonna invite the media to go meet you at Foster Road in 2 hours. Got there, talked with the scientists from Environmental Services who had spent tens of millions of dollars in federal funds to restore the stream bank in Johnson Creek. And it has been incredibly effective. And so that's why it's only flooded Foster Road twice in the last 11 years. It used to be a much more regular occurrence. So it's been very effective. But the testament to that 2015 event was after we finished talking with the media at the farm down there. There's a educational farm experience just east of 112th or so. The fire public information officer for fire and rescue came up to me and said, Dylan, you gotta close Foster Road. You gotta close Foster Road. I said, what do you mean? I thought we closed it. I go drive over, and there's all these cars, about 30 cars lined up, getting ready, and one by one, people are driving into 3 feet of water. And I'm looking around, I don't see any barricades anywhere. So I call our maintenance lead at the time, and she said, Dylan, I closed Foster Road 4 hours ago. What are you talking about? And I said, well, we need some bigger barricades. Turns out, yes, the barricades we put up there were about this tall. I think they're called type 1. And then we had to bring out some type 3, the big ones that look like the section of a wall, to reinforce the idea that the road is in fact closed, please turn around. And then it's bad when the PIO is standing in the middle of the street looking people in the eye and saying, turn around. The road is closed. So it's in an emergency, extreme times, call for some extreme measures. These are the public information officers for the regional transportation and public safety agencies. We did a preparedness event for winter with our partners ODOT back in October, actually November this year. ODOT and PBOT take turns doing a seasonal preparedness event to remind the media and the public, and really to speak to the public through the media to remind folks to get ready for winter weather, to make sure you have a plan for your family, to remind you that you need to make sure your sidewalk is passable so you and your neighbors can walk to transit in the event of a multi-day, especially multi-day snow event. And so these are the people that we work together with to get the word out. And in so many of these events, especially Johnson Creek, the risk, their priority with all emergency response is prevent loss of life and property. And so with Johnson Creek, the BES structural systems and environmental restoration there has built a lot of that in already. But the most critical threat to really life safety is to people who are houseless Portland neighbors who are living along the creek. And so we work with PBEM and Portland Parks and Rec and service providers to go door to door, campsite by campsite, and warn people in advance of a Johnson Creek flood event. And so that's part of the response. It's not just social media posts and whatnot like that. In an acute emergency, especially a flood, it's individual person-to-person communication. The Water Bureau busted a water main in the Alameda neighborhood about 5 or 6 years ago. And unlike the sewer pipes, the water pipes are under incredible pressure. So if a water main bursts, it's like a geyser. And so within minutes, there was 3 feet of water, just flying down Northeast 25th Avenue, I think it was. And someone got a kayak out and was kayaking on Alameda Street in Northeast Portland. And the firefighters went door to door to check on people in that corridor. So we have so many ways to reach people, and when we know exactly there's an acute need in a geographically specific area, we can focus that communication. We have more than 50,000 storm drains in the city of Portland, and so about 400 maintenance staff, minus several dozen vacancies that are vacant right now. So we need everyone's help to clear a storm drain, adopt a storm drain by your home or business, identify it in clear conditions so you can see where it is, where it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, and then when it's covered up in leaves or other debris, if it's safe, you can safely clear it. If it's too difficult, or you're seeing ponding water on a busy street, call us. Call 311, or our maintenance dispatch hotline is available 24/7, 503-823-1700. This is a Vector truck operating on Swan Island. We had some rain early in December. Not the big rain we had later in December that closed Foster Road, but this was a significant event and caused a lot of work for us. Stay in touch. We've got lots of ways you can learn more about how to prepare yourself, your family on our website, portland.gov/weather. We're trying to work more and more across bureaus, interdisciplinary at the city and regionally with our regional partners as well. And so you'll see a lot of, we have a long history of working closely with PBOT with TriMet and ODOT, the three of us hosting press conferences to warn the public about a coming storm event, sometimes on minutes or hours notice. And you'll see a lot more of that with other city bureaus as well, with PBEM and other partners. So there's information online. You can sign up for email or text message alerts. We'll send you the emails to your cell phone as a text message, and you can get the latest there. Sign up for travel advisories. That's the main way we try to warn the public, and then talking with our partners in the news media. So thanks.